History of the blues. In an arguably violent time in the late 1860s, the beginnings of blues music developed with influences from all over the world. The blues developed out of ancient musical traditions from many parts of the world, traditions that were synthesized by African Americans in the southern United States, developing from before the advent of recorded sound. A problem with studying the history of the blues is that Africa is a very large continent and slaves were taken from all over and brought to the New World, which is exactly why the invention of the blues is very beautifully complex. There were influences that the African Americans received from being exposed to music from white European traditions, such as the hymns sung in churches, also coming from Turkish ceremonial music, the sense of rhythmic freedom used by Spanish singers, Arabic scale structures, and melodic sequences. Let's go back and talk about the phrase the blues. In the 1600s, there was something known as blue devils. This was referring to intense visual hallucinations that would accompany severe alcohol withdrawal. Over time, the word devil was dropped, and blues came to mean a state of agitation or depression. By the 1800s in the United States, the term blues was associated with drinking alcohol, a meaning which survives in the phrase blue law, which prohibits the sale of alcohol on Sunday. Fun fact, to this day, this is still in effect for the state of Indiana. Another source that contributed to the phrase the blues was Charlotte Fortin, a free-born black schoolteacher in South Carolina originating from Pennsylvania. On December 14, 1862, she wrote that phrase in her diary, stating, "I came home with the blues." After surviving her depression, she noted a number of songs that were popular among the slaves, with which she stated, "You can't sing these songs without a full heart and a troubled spirit." Still, to this day, those are conditions that inspire many blues songs. Griots, Call and Response, and Field Howlers really paved the way lyrically for blues music. These were sung by New World slaves as a way of keeping the work motion going. Though this music was often referred to as slave music, it was not. They did not speak of the enslaved, but rather the experiences. After all, I'm sure the experience of slavery would leave anyone with a troubled spirit and feelings that need releasing. The earliest known blues styles were called country blues, also known as folk, rural, or down-home blues. Also known as the simplest blues style, usually performed by a solo singer accompanied by simple guitar strumming with occasional melodic fills. There was also the Delta blues, which was the country blues styles of Robert Johnson and the others who came from the Mississippi Delta region, which later would become the style that most heavily influenced the development of rock music for its highly emotional, rough, and expressive sound. Then, just like music today, the more music people heard, the more they were influenced to try something different, to take something else they heard and play around with it. It wasn't any different back then for the blues musicians either. I am very